mode.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Hi, ladies, and welcome to our weekly Women's Empowerment webinar. Tonight, we will be discussing, you moved the screen, so I can't remember.
Did I move it? Is it not showing anymore? Obstacles.
No, we're talking about obstacles and the laws of compensation.
Yes. Yes, that is.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had it in my brain, and then I like totally, as soon as the screen went away, I was like, oh my goodness.
Can you
And we
not
are
see
with
my screen right now?
Pardon?
Can you see my screen right now, though?
All I see is obstacles on there.
Okay, good, good. I want to make sure you can see it.
And we are with Angel Balichowski, and it's up to you now, Angel.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much for allowing me to come tonight and host this webinar with you. I love doing this, and super fun. And I thank you guys for coming out tonight and taking some time out to just hang out and talk about some things, talk about some personal development and some mindset on a female part, right? Like we always hear just generic training, but I think as women, we're complex, and there's a lot of things that we don't share, and a lot of things that we keep to ourselves, or a lot of things that we allow hold us back. And that was kind of when me and Amanda got talking. It was like, well, let's do this series where we're talking to women and where it's just for women. So that's what this is for. And if it's your first time on or your first time listening to one of the recordings, I am Angel Balichowski. I'm in Winnipeg, and I am a mom of two, working full-time from home. I am the top earner in Canada in my company, and I am Amanda's business partner and honored to work with her, and just excited to share with you guys. My passion is training and really helping women excel at their business. I've been doing some coaching for about 2 years now, and I've been home full-time for about 1.5 years. So it's been a lot of fun, and I've been working a lot with women in their branding and that kind of stuff. And now Amanda and I are on this awesome journey together, and I'm excited to work with her and see where she's going. And I love that she has this amazing group of women that she gets to be around every single day online, and all of you are awesome and you're excelling at what you're doing. And so this is just to kind of really get into those parts of our mind and of our business that we don't generally go to, because our life is so busy that we're always focused on the next thing or the next task or the next to do, and we're not giving ourselves enough time to really go deep into figuring out either what, like last week we talked about breakthroughs and the steps that you need to take to have a massive breakthrough. And so I was going to actually, last week when we ended this one, said we were going to do some target marketing, but there was this kind of stuff in between that I want to deal with. And because I think, you can know all the steps that you need to have your breakthrough, but there's going to be things that keep you from still acting out on that breakthrough. And so I was like, I think we need something in between the target market, because you can't just go from breakthrough to creating that story and knowing who your target market is. You do want to address some of the things that might hold you back. So this week, yes, we're going to be talking about those obstacles. And then at the end, we're going to be talking about the law of compensation and how one small thing that I started changing in my life changed everything that I drew into my business and into my life. And it was just one small shift in my mindset. And it actually happened very recently. I think it was about 8 or 9 months ago that I started thinking differently. And all of a sudden, all of the people that I wanted to start coming into my life, all of the quality people, all of the leaders like Amanda that I've always wanted to work with, started just pouring into my life. And so it really helps. So we're going to be talking about that. So talking about obstacles, the first obstacle that you're going to have is going to be your belief. And generally this is your belief in your products or your company or your compensation plan. That kind of belief is what we're talking about. So not so much belief in yourself, because we've covered that in last week's webinar really, and went deep into some strategies that you can use to start believing in yourself. But belief in your company and your products and your compensation plan is huge, because if you're lacking in any one of those areas, it's going to hold you back. So I've had this situation happen before. So I've been in a company where I loved the products so much. They were changing my life. I loved sharing them, but I didn't believe that much in the business model, because this compensation plan was horrible. Nobody was really making money. I wasn't making money. There were, of course, people making money way down the line, but anybody that I was close with in that company weren't making very much money. So I didn't have very much belief in the duplication of that business. And then I've been in other companies where I've been a member of something and I wasn't using the product. So even though I believed in the company and I believed in my team because there was some rock stars on there creating huge success, I wasn't using the product because at that time I couldn't afford to. So I didn't have a belief in my product. So there I couldn't relate that product, right? I couldn't paint that picture for people because I wasn't using it. I didn't know what it really was like to use this product. So you really have to, you've got to have a belief in all three of those things. And you can increase that by either, increasing your being around people on your team who are having success and finding out how they're doing it and really learning from them and really being coachable and really being, just saying, I'm here, I want to learn, show me what it means to create that belief, what steps do I need to do, and they're more than happy to do that with you. And it's really, just about finding what you're passionate about. And sometimes there is that hard realization, and like I say, I've been through it before, where you've got to like step back and say, okay, if I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for, am I lacking in my belief? And you generally know that, right? It's generally like an internal thing that you can identify with, and you know that there's something about your company or something about what you're doing that's holding you back, but you're so passionate about it and you've told people you're going to do this, right? And so you go after it so hard, but if there's something holding you back, it's always going to be there until you either address it or find something that can replace that. And then the other thing that will be an obstacle for you is your environment. And that can be either people that you're around, that can be your environment that you're in, that can be so many different things. But your environment, if you're surrounded by a really negative environment, and that could be your spouse, that could be family, it could be friends, if the people that you frequent the most are pretty negative or gossipy or down on life or, just always wanting to point out the bad things in life or in any situation, that will really drag you down and you just become that person, right? You are the product of what you surround yourself with because whatever you're around the most is what you're going to experience. And I've had this happen as well. And so you've actually got to, and we've talked about this before, step back from those situations, limit yourself in that environment, and really allow yourself to create a new environment. And I'll tell you how to do that in a second. And then your environment can also be what you're in. Like, how when your house is crazy messy, like the cleaning has gone about a week past when you had said you were going to set a cleaning day for, and everything's at a chaos and you're trying to get work done, but the house is a mess and you know that you need to go get groceries and you need to do all that, that environment can really stifle you in your growth in your business. So I've always been an advocate for taking a day and addressing those things that are driving you crazy, because even though we think like, I don't have the time to take a day to clean, or I don't have the time to take the car and go clean it out and do that, or I don't have the time to go up in my room and fold all the laundry that's piling up there, those are the things that can drive you crazy internally. And if your internal is off, it will reflect in your business. And as women, those are just things that bug us, right? And so we have to do those things. And it's not so much being a freak about it or letting it control you, but it is really just being able to take that time, address that. You feel so much better if you take a day where you totally clean, or sometimes for me, it's even when I get super frustrated that I haven't spent enough time with my kids. Like if 3 days has gone by and all I've done is just push them around while I do my business and I'm on the phone all the time, I've got to take a day, or I've got to take a few hours in a day where I'm just like, okay, this is for them. My internal environment is really not good right now because I'm getting really ticked off because all I'm doing is working and I don't want to do that, So I've done that before. But if your environment is toxic because of people, one great way to change that is to change the people that you're being around and to seek out your mentors. And so that can be people either that you are following online, people who you enjoy reading their books. It can be people who you enjoy watching their content online. Maybe they have some videos. That can be your environment. And I know for myself, back when I knew that I needed to change my environment, I didn't have a lot of positive people immediately in my area to seek out. So I sought out people online and I sought out mentors online and I got in their courses and I made myself noticed and I did the work and I stood out, and I really got that. And I ended up building these friendships with these people that to me, when I first started, seemed so unreachable, and now they're some of my best friends. And it just will blow you away how open people are when you're willing to get out there and, you know, really show yourself and really edify other people and really just be that genuine person, people want to be around you. You can totally change your environment. The other obstacle that you might have is being non-coachable. And we have all known these people who have come into our team or been on our team or been around us who are just like that know-it-all, right? Where it's like, I don't need to be told anything. I know what I'm doing. I'm good. But they don't, you know, or they're not producing, or maybe they get a bit of results and then they're like, you know, not around. All of a sudden they're just gone and you can't figure out what's happened. But because they're so non-coachable, they don't even come around for that coaching, right? So if you think that you don't need to have anybody help you out, or that you don't need your upline, or that you don't need the training in your business, that's when you're going to get really stuck. And I know for myself when I first started, and I think part of being non-coachable is also being too independent, right? And not wanting to ask anybody for help. I was a person who never asked anybody for help for anything. Nothing in life, nothing in business, nothing ever. And so coming into this industry like that and not asking people for help is one of the worst ways to start out, right? Because you're making yourself so that you're so independent and you think you're going to do everything yourself. And I tried to not reinvent the wheel, but think that I was going to come up with my own way of all this marketing, that I didn't need to follow what the training said, or I didn't need to seek out an upline because I didn't really have a leader that was showing me how to do anything. So I didn't take that initiative to seek that person out either. So make sure that if you are recognizing that in yourself, that maybe you're being a little bit non-coachable, maybe you're a little bit resistant, and it might not even be that it's a personality thing. It may just be that you're so independent that you don't think that you need that. Then make sure that you do reach out and find some upline, find some people. It's okay if the person who sponsored you isn't having success or something like that, then it's okay to go to the next person. It's okay to go up to where you want to be and say, hey, I'm struggling here. I think I might be a little bit resistant to coaching. I think I've been trying to do everything on my own, and obviously that's not working. So can you show me what you're doing and how you guys are making this duplicate so that I can do the same thing? And it's as simple as that, just recognizing that in yourself and allowing yourself to ask for help. Then the other object is obstacle. Sorry guys, it's like 10:30 here, so my words are gone. I've been on the phone all day. But shiny object syndrome will be one of your obstacles for some people. And that's something I think all of us suffer with from time to time, because we'll be doing something, and if you're not, very seldom will you create incredible success right away, right? Like there's generally that waiting period of time that you need to wait. And so if you see somebody else over to the right having some success with something, or you see somebody else shouting online that they're using this system that's, generating them $1,000 residual a month, or you're hearing somebody else say, oh, I just joined this company and all my people are rank advancing, that can totally take your focus away from what you're doing, and it can make you be like jumping ship, right? And there's a lot of people that do that. There's a lot of people that start something, stick it out for a couple of weeks, maybe even 30 days, and then they're gone on to the next thing. And I've seen that over and over and over again. And those are people that just keep on spinning their wheels. And the fact of the matter is, in this industry, you need to know that it's going to take 30 to 60 to 90 days. 30 days of planting those seeds, 60 days of sowing those seeds, and then 90 days from then, you're going to see that harvest of those seeds that you have planted. And for most people, that is the cycle you will go through. Now, there'll be some people that will create success sooner than that if they've had a good result somewhere else, or maybe have a good market, or just find the right people, right? Some people just are like that. But there is a period of time that everybody needs to wait. And I know with our team, we say to them, commit for a year, commit to be here in a year, because I can't give you a blueprint to 6 figures in 12 months if you're not going to commit to that year. We may as well not even bother, because what's the point if you don't think you're even going to be here? So just be aware of that for yourself. Find something that you're passionate about, something that you want to stick that year out for. And I think I heard that back years ago from Eric Worre, where he was like, just commit to being there a year from now. And then once you're there for a year, commit to another year, and keep on building that success, because we've all seen people who are the millionaires in the industry. Well, they're millionaires after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, right? It didn't happen in their first year, but they stuck it out and kept building. But the fact is, between 0 and $1 million is 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, right? And those are the points in your business. Those are other those are other places that you want to get to. So just being totally resistant. If you find something that's going to benefit your business that you're doing now, that you absolutely can without a doubt say, yes, I need this tool for my business, that's a little bit different. But jumping to something else as maybe another point of income, or trying to work two things, or just jumping from business to business to business, will keep you from ever really being able to create any success. And then there's the doubt that will creep in, that you can't do this, that you might not do this, that there's something wrong with you that's going to keep you from doing this. Your intention that you bring into everything that you do is going to produce whatever it is that you're coming into it with. So if you're coming into, all of a sudden your mindset's getting a little bit poor and you're thinking, I'm doubting everything that I'm doing, I don't know that I can do this, I'm not sure that I'm cut out for this, what if I fail, and starting to think that maybe you're letting people down, that kind of doubt that creeps in will prevent you from being able to go on to create that success. So that's when you need to reach out to your upline, or to your mentor, or to your coach, or whatever it is that you have, and just say, I'm in a little bit of a funky spot, I need some help, and would you help set me on the right track? Because it's generally when you can reach out and say something like that, the biggest breakthroughs come, right? It's just that small thing that somebody else will see in you and see in the steps that you're taking that will help you to just be like, oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, you're right. That makes a lot more sense. And you just go off with it running. So don't allow doubt in anything that you're doing to stop you. And then the other thing that will be an obstacle for you is a lack mentality. And this is something that most of us are just born into. The coupon clipping, the money saving, the don't spend too much, the we don't have enough, the don't ask for too much, live happily on average, that kind of mentality. But that lack mentality actually keeps us from an abundant life, a life where we see opportunity and awareness all around us. And so it is getting out of that lack mentality that will help you to become aware of what's out there. And I know a lot of times, people will say, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find enough people, or I don't know where to find the people, or I don't know where they are. And the fact is, we have so many people on this planet, and a lot of times I just kind of, when I start to think that way, like, oh no, who am I going to talk to today, or what am I going to do to find somebody today? I know that in my head, here I am in Winnipeg, and in Winnipeg we have 750,000 people here. And there are millions of cities way bigger than Winnipeg that I can start reaching out to people online. We have this access to this amazing thing called the internet to find people. How, like, when I start to think that lack, it's like, whoa, 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 there's how many people in the world that I could be talking to? There's how many people, if I could just get 1% of Winnipeg, my business would be pretty crazy cool, right? So it's just realizing that you don't need to be thinking that there's not enough people. And I know some people will come into this industry and think, there's talk of people stealing people, or there's talk of, well, I don't want somebody else to get this person, or, I don't want to share somebody's link because I don't want other people to come in under that person. And you've really just got to start to accept the fact that stuff's going to happen. Chances of that happening are very slim. If somebody likes you, they're going to join you. People join the person, not the business. So if you've shared something that has made somebody, intrigued with it, chances are they're looking at it because it was you that shared it. It wasn't necessarily that somebody doesn't know you and sees something and is then going to join with some stranger. They're probably going to talk to you about it. And even if not, it's no big deal, because that's just the way that it was meant to be. You can look at something like that when you feel like, you don't want to share information with people, or you don't want to share people's stuff. What if you were the blessing that caused that person to be blessed by that person, right? So it's really looking at things from a different perspective and realizing that we don't need to be so close-minded, or so, hoarding our stuff and stuff like that. And also, I think if we can come into that place where we don't have that lack mentality, and we realize that everything that we put forth can benefit other people, then your team is really going to thrive, because you can come to the table and you can share training with them, and you can share things that are working with you without thinking to yourself, oh no, I don't want to share this because I don't want other people to get results, because what if they get results and they get people that I could have had? Well, that's really limiting your business. That's really limiting yourself. And when you keep in that limit mentality, you're going to draw limits into your life, if that makes sense. As soon as you start to think bigger and start to realize that, you know, if you lose one person to another person, even if they're not on your team, then chances are there's a whole lot more people out there for you. And so really just allowing yourself to let go of that lack mentality. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to talk about the law of compensation. Now, tonight was not very long. I have to get up very early with my family in the morning, and we have appointments. So tonight was kept a little bit shorter. But because of the power of this right here that I'm going to share with you and what it will do for your life, I think it could be possibly one of the most powerful trainings that we've done yet in this series, because like I say, this is really where my life changed. And actually when we went through this course, which was part of one of the courses that I took, this was one of the trainings, there were people the next week that were just posting in this group that we're in where it was like, oh my gosh, this just happened. Oh my gosh, I let go of this and this just happened. And so this is how people got rid of that lack mentality, and it's called the law of compensation, and understanding what that means. And we all know, or probably have heard or understand, that the more that you put out, the more that you will get back. The more that you bless people, the bigger blessings you can receive. But yet for some reason, that easy, understandable law, which when you say it, sounds like the easiest thing that you should be able to do every single day, is one of the hardest things for anybody to do. And that's because we are taught to hold on to as much as possible, because what if? What if something happens and I need this? What if I give this away and then I turn around and need it? What if there's disaster and that, you know, that meant something to me and I need it back? And so we tend to, or provide for yourself first, right? We have that mentality. What's mine is mine. I'm going to protect myself first, and then I'll bless other people. And when I started to hear this, I thought, isn't that funny? Because so many people's story, so many people's why, so many people's dream is to bless other people, not just their team, right? But their money blessings that people want to do, which is charity and you know, maybe building an orphanage. I have a girl on my team who wants to build an orphanage, and I can't wait for that to happen for her. I've got people who want to sponsor children. I myself, you know, I want to be able to empower women in other countries to be able to be entrepreneurs, and to empower little girls to start to think that they're worth something, and, you know, to do something even here where outside of the school system they're encouraged to be entrepreneurs, that kind of thing, right? So we have all these goals for our money, all these things that we're going to do when we have the money. But the law of compensation actually works that when we start to do things with our money, when we start to do things with the blessings that we can give, when we start to put other people before us, our entire lives will change. And I realized that I was coming from a lack mentality, that I was, and I've shared with you guys before, we went through a super huge struggle here as a family. And so I was penny pinching, and I was like, oh man, I can't even give away anymore. And I remember one woman saying, well, you don't need to give to your church anymore. Like, that's something that they shouldn't even expect of you now. And so I was starting to get those thoughts, right, where it's like, well, I can't do anything. All this money, I need to keep everything. And when I heard this training, I was out of that time in my life, but I realized what an impact thinking this way could have had on me back then. And so what was suggested is, you know, I don't know if you guys, I don't know what it's like where you are. I'm sure it's the same everywhere, but a lot of times in Winnipeg, when you go to a cashier, there's, do you want to give $1 to this, or do you want to give $2 to this, or do you want to give $1 to that? And I used to be very close-minded, where I was like, oh, you know, these corporations, they get a tax benefit from all the money that all these store shoppers are giving them. Like, oh no, I'm not going to give them any money. But the fact is, if I give $2 and that business matches my $2 and that charity benefits, that's a good thing. You know, who cares about the tax write-off? I can't write off $1 anyways. I can't write off $2 for a donation anyways, right? You're not going to be able to put that anywhere. So what does that $1 or $2 matter? And to really be able to start thinking like that, and to start realizing that you can start to do the things that you want to do now. They may not be on such a grand scale, but start to allow yourself to let go. And so some of the things that were suggested were, yes, when you walk in a store and there's a draw, or there's somebody asking for your money, and inwardly, if the inward you actually wants to give, If you walk by and you feel a tiny bit guilty because you can't, and the reason that you're not giving is because you're worried you don't have enough to give, that's when you let go and you give. Or if you're walking past someone who clearly has a need and inwardly you really want to give, then you give. You just do that. Just start doing those things and it will start really changing your life. And it doesn't even have to be money. It can be a lot of times, we stay away from certain people, because of their different walk of life or their different way they're living, or maybe they're not considered as safe, right? If we're downtown or something, you don't want to help someone because what if they do something to you? But what if they don't and you actually bless someone in that day? And so when your heart is being pulled on, and we all know those feelings, we all know our intuition and when we should be doing something, those are the things you need to act on, because the law of compensation will pay you back tenfold for sure, guaranteed. And you'll start to see things come into your life. You'll start to see the more blessings in your business. You'll start to see more money coming in. You'll start to see things just start to happen in your life, and you'll be like, oh, and then you get addicted to the blessing. It's not so much about what's coming back to you. It's what can you pour out to others, because it just becomes such a fun thing to do that why wouldn't you want to do that every day? And sometimes that can even be helping somebody out with their business. If you know something that somebody else doesn't know, we're trained a lot of times to think, well, they're not paying me for this information, or they're not part of my team, so they're not going to benefit me, or, I don't really have the time for this person, so I'm not going to do that. What if that's your blessing for the day? What if that's the day that you get to, just bless somebody with your words, with your knowledge, and you change their life, and say they make some money in their business because of that? Well, guess what's going to happen to you? 10 times that blessing. And if you're out, and even just a smile, even if you see I don't know, like if you're out and you see somebody who's clearly having a bad day, or somebody who's grumpy, or maybe their attitude is just poor and you can just tell that there's something wrong, instead of being like, oh my gosh, what's the matter with that person, I better stay away from them or look away, or what if you smiled at them? What if you just blessed their day? What if you asked them how they were doing? Those kind of things, reaching out to people that need you, not even hoarding your time, right? Because we keep it away from the people that we love the most. Our families were given to us as a blessing in our life. And they're there because the most important thing in the world is love, and loving them. And so giving them your time as well will be a blessing to them. It will bless your business. And I know we've talked about that before, but it will. It's just allowing yourself to let go. Those times when you feel yourself holding on because you're worried, or because of fear, or because of what if, those are the times when you've really got to step out and say, no, I got to stop that, because that's what's holding me back. And even letting go of clothes, right? If you've got a whole closet full of clothes that you haven't worn for 2 years, and you're holding on to them because what if one day I wear these, let go of those this week. Pack them up and give them away. Take them to a shelter. Call diabetes if they do that for you guys there to come and get them, or, take them wherever you can. Bless other people with it. If you know somebody who's struggling and really hasn't been out shopping, maybe they can benefit from the clothes, or buying an extra bag of groceries and blessing a family that you know is in need, or taking a meal to somebody that just had a baby, or maybe they're going through a separation, or maybe somebody just needs to talk and have a coffee, and you've been avoiding that person because you feel like you don't have the time to give to them, then those are the times that you want to start to bless. So the law of compensation really starts when you allow yourself to start letting go and just start understanding that it will change you. And as women, we're so busy that we don't think that we have that time, and a lot of times we're so I don't know, we second guess everything that we're going to do sometimes, and we second guess, well, what if they take it the wrong way, or what if I'm not supposed to do this? Well, what if you are? Always act on that instinct of just what the inner you wants to do and what excites you, because we know that when we're blessing people, we know that feeling where when you're changing someone's life, and when you feel that energy change in you, where you know that you're doing something that's affecting somebody else, and it's absolutely unselfish, and you're just doing it because you want to just start blessing people, and you start letting go that way, your whole life will change. And it will just start that week. And like I say, there was women posting and men posting in that group of ways, like one woman had things like landing on her doorstep. She would let go of something and something better would show up at her door or in her mailbox, or she'd be out and somebody would hand her something. Like, this woman was just out of control. Like, I don't know if she was just spending all of her time letting go of stuff and just blessing people, but it was very cool to see. And for myself, I mean, when I started to be able to let go and started to allow myself to do the things that I want to do, when, you know, when I'm got all this money and started to just slowly allow myself to start doing just a little bit now, it really changes your mentality, and it makes you realize that you don't need to hold on so much, because the more you let go, the more you're going to get and the happier you're going to be. So that was it for tonight, ladies. Share in the group when you have something happen, or if you've let go, declare it in there and say, I let go of this today, or today I did this with my money, or today I took that extra step and went out of my comfort zone and did this, and just let people know, and then let us know what comes back to you because of it. If your business grows, if all of a sudden you get unexpected money, if all of a sudden you get an unexpected blessing, or something that you've been praying for or wishing for a long time all of a sudden shows up in your life, let us know, because that's what's going to happen. So I'm really excited to see what happens in your guys' lives as you start thinking of and being aware of the law of compensation every day in your life. Now, every time that you have that guilty feeling, or that feeling like you want to do something, you're not going to be able to ignore it anymore, because you're going to want to start acting on this. So allow it to happen. And that is it for tonight. Next week we are going to be Tuesday, because I do have a commitment on Monday, and we will cover the target market and the crafting your story, and we'll go into that. So Amanda, if you're still there, I don't know if you're muted or not, but if you wouldn't mind closing out. Oh, maybe she's not there. She may have had to go for her kids. Oh, there you
I'm sorry. I like couldn't, I was, whatever. Sorry. I had a really bad intro too, and now I'm going out poorly.
Right.
This was amazing tonight, and thank you once again. I look forward